Say hello to everybody for joining us tonight. I appreciate you taking the time. I'll try to make it a little shorter than last night's presentation by the presidential candidates, so we won't be here all evening. I'll give you a little bit of topic on the Garmin overview, kind of where the company is right now, a little bit about our Panama products and the update that is so important as part of the ADS-B compliance regulations, the GTN series and the G500, 600 updates. We'll talk a little bit about the latest in Garmin ADS-B solutions offerings, the new GTX 335 and 345 Mode S transponders for ADS-B compliance, as well as our UAT solutions, the GDL 84 and 88, along with our FlightStream 110, 210, and 510 for connectivity, getting those bang for your dollar, taking advantage of all those certified components and displaying those on not only our Panama products, but also then Bluetoothing that information over onto your portables and or tablet running apps such as Garmin Pilot and or ForeFlight. We'll talk very briefly about our new latest offering of the Era 660 Aviation Portable, and hopefully we'll have some time for some questions. At some point, I may ask John if he's still there to make sure that I haven't lost my connection. I'm used to giving presentations in front of the large groups and working off the energy levels and feedback. So I hope to express the energy of the new features and new products that you would see me, my physical movements and my facial expressions of the things that are really exciting to me and our customers who are already using our equipment. Just to go into Garmin Aviation a little bit, U.S. manufactured, designed, manufactured, and supported of the certified products for the aviation family of not only the ADS-B solutions, but all of the Panama solutions at our Olathe facility just southwest of Kansas City, Garmin AT facility in Salem, Oregon, and of course multiple locations for large software teams who work together on the Panama products, portable products, and of course the app world for our connectivity. With that, we'll talk a little bit about our latest Panama product updates, our software updates, our enhancements, our feature and interface updates on the Garmin touchscreen navigators, which is surprising to me that it's been 5 years that these very popular products have been out there. We introduced the GTN 750 and 650 series in the March of 2011, which took over from our legacy units, the 430W and 530W, for primarily, let's call it the Part 23 and some of the Part 25 market. So very popular products that have been out there for a while. And we continue to update our software with new interfaces and features and functionality. Some of those that I'll talk about in just a moment with our recently released software this past week, but I wanted to make sure everybody was aware that both Victor Airway and Airway Overlay are available on both the GTN 650 and 750 as part of flight planning. Garmin Safe Taxi diagrams available, over 1,000 of those now. Obstacle database is standard, terrain alerting standard, as well as TAS-B capabilities as an option for those flying 135 operations, say for a King Air with more than 3 seats. That's a required. TAS-B is required. We do have that capability. Standard is 10-watt COM. We do have a 16-watt COM availability. That's primarily for the jet operators. Oftentimes I'll see a GTN 750 installed with a 16-watt for, say, a CJ3 that's going across the pond. Multiple traffic sources are available to interface. Garmin traffic sources for Mode S transponders, our ADS-B solutions, Honeywell, L3, Avidyne solutions all in there as well, all able to interface over with us. XM weather capability through data link and weather subscription through the XS Sirius XM services via the GDL 69 or 69 Alpha, the Alpha being that for audio capabilities. Remote transponders for the 327 as well as the 335 and 345 transponders, the newer Mode S transponders, allowing for panel mount savings, as well as an interface that's touchscreen on there. We also have the ability to have the remote audio panel on the GTN 750 through the GMA 35 and or 35C, the C being for Bluetooth connectivity capabilities. Garmin flight charts available for those of us flying Part 91 operations, able to have our, let's call it our paper approach plate in a digitized format and displayed on the 750, or we can have Jefferson chart view, and that is an option that requires an enablement from us. With that, those systems have been out for 5 years. We've gone through many major software upgrades. Some of the recently released ones, we talked about them at Oshkosh, and they are now released, certified TSO at STC, and available to the Garmin dealers to upgrade. The software release is free from Garmin. The shop may charge you an hour or two of labor to install that software, as well as do the paperwork sign-offs, but they include things such as radius-defined legs, user-defined holes, fuel range rings when available, search and rescue patterns that are an option there, animated weather radar that would be available if you have a weather source such as a GDL69XM and or a GTX 345 or GDL88 for ADS-B FISB weather, pinch zoom capabilities, or Telligence voice command. So the GTN now has multiple ways to use it. We have the touchscreen capabilities. We have the concentric knobs to input information. And we also have Telligence or voice command capabilities as well. I'll go to that in just 1 minute. On the pinch to zoom that a lot of folks have been asking for, that's available on the moving map page, the traffic pages, or also on the terrain page. So plenty of areas to use the pinch to zoom technology that so many of us are accustomed to from our smartphones or tablets. Some of the others, not necessarily for everybody listening in, say, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, or Nevada tonight, but European visual reporting points are now available, and that really is a big deal to our friends overseas. Radios available prior to engine startup is much more for the turbine market than Part 23 piston. Flightstream 510, which I'll go into detail in a little while about, once again, connectivity, and that is a multimedia card using both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth for flight planning, weather transfer, traffic transfer, as well as database synchronization on a monthly basis. The option to clear all stored flight plans from user waypoints, that's really listening to the customers about something that may have frustrated them in the past, and then we tie into our systems and put that in a priority, and we take care of customer requests over time. Flight track vector, which is giving pilots more visual cues to ensure flight plan tracking, and our pilot selectable safe taxi diagrams with hotspot descriptions to highlight and look at. As I said, the 6.21 software update is available now. I was very happy to see that released and certified last Friday and released this past Monday once we had everything available for the dealer network. Telligence voice command, like I said, another way to talk to the unit and have it work. But there are over 300 commands. Now, the install will require a separate discrete, but we have the ability to say select mic, and you'll see it highlight on there, or tune to the nearest center, tune to the nearest destination tower, tune to the ADS, and it will go into the standby, and we hit monitor to get that. Show the flight plan page, and it automatically goes to it. Show fuel flow, show the bearing and distance, and that's in the upper right-hand corner, similar to what the 530W once showed us. Say bearing and distance. We go back there and say the winds, and that will give us to our next waypoint and or destination, depending on if we're on a direct to. So once again, the GTN Navigator is still adding more feature and functionality for those who've been flying those for a while. I'm going to talk a little bit about the ADS-B solutions. We'll go into that. We all know that ADS-B next-gen compliance is required for flying in controlled airspace. December 31st, 2019. I didn't pause for effect there. I was just taking a little sip of water. Anyway, so December 31st, 2019, we're all going to be compliant, or we're going to be working outside of controlled airspace, and hoping that our Garmin dealer is outside of airspace as well and willing to work on us, or they're going to be road crews, etc. But there's really no reason to wait. The costs of ADS-B compliance have really come down. I know when this was first being discussed 7-8 years ago, general aviation customers thought that the overall install and compliance was going to be in the $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 range, and that just has not turned out to be the case. So we have some really cost-effective solutions for all aircraft, whether you're flying experimental, light piston, light twin, turbine aircraft, helicopters, etc. The Garmin portfolio really covers the full line all the way up into the Part 25 world, flying Lear 60s, etc. So we're happy to have a full product line. The GTX 335 is a Mode S transponder with 1090 extended splitter outbound and TIS-A traffic inbound, very similar to what we had with the GTX 330ES. The 335 is ADS-B compliant on the 1090 extended splitter frequency. It's an industry standard 1.6-inch form factor. Remote mount versions are capable. We have optional wash GPS, so if you wanted a GTX 335 with WAS, that legacy 172 with a silver crown stack that's never upgraded to anything, but he wants to be compliant. He's under a Bravo and he flies VFR. Changing out a transponder to this source would get him there at a cost of, starting at $29.95 for the base unit. It would be an additional $800 plus installation for the WAS GPS receiver. With that, we also have the 345, which is our dual link, and that's ADS-B out compliant on the 1090, and receiving both 1090 and 978 for FISB and TIS-B traffic information. We also include the Connext Bluetooth capabilities, same standard form factor with standard transponder or remote mount versions with an optional WAS GPS. That optional WAS GPS in this case is somebody who, once again, potentially 172, ammonia 210, etc. But they do want the weather and traffic information, and they do want it displayed on, say, their portable and or tablet. So they may have a 345 with GPS, with that Bluetooth capability for weather and traffic, and display it on Garmin Pilot and or ForeFlight. There's no reason your tablet can't have both, unless it was an Android tablet, and that would be a Garmin Pilot only solution. So the list price of that is $49.95. Once again, an additional $800 if you needed or wanted the WAS GPS unit. We all mount our iPads in different areas. I personally mount mine in the seat back pocket and fly my glass cockpit panel that looks a little bit more like this. But once again, it really reiterates that all pilots fly a little bit different. So, some of those solutions that I talked about all require a WAS-approved GPS source, whether from a GTN series or GNS WAS 43530, or from the 335 with GPS or 345 with GPS. Additionally, we can go back there, talk about that just for a second. So with that, the 345 would display weather and traffic information on any of those boxes above, the 650, the 750, the 430 and 530 as well. There are some differences of what you would see on that weather traffic. The new technology has up to 60 targets that would show in traffic, where the legacy 430 and 530 units will show 8. There's also some additional features of relative motion technology for the traffic with better indication as closure rates and whether or not that's a potential threat on the GTN newer processing, much higher power than the originally 386 processing speeds of the legacy GNS 430s and 530s. So there's a little limitation there based on age and technology there. Some of the features that we'll talk about on these new boxes are that, hey, they're transponders. They're sunlight readable with dedicated squawk entry buttons and timers and trip and flight and descent. They look like a digital transponder. They just happen to do a whole lot more. Once again, outbound on the 1090 frequency for capabilities and with the integrated optional WAS GPS, unless we're using the 430, 530 GTNs or even the G1000 CNS 80 units as well. So fits right into our existing panel, light modifications from the shop, comprehensive list of our displays and compatibilities from the WAS position sources of the 650 or 750 series, the 430W or 530W series. Select G1000, and we say select because there are 35 OEMs currently using the G1000 integrated flight deck. Some of them are WAS, some of them are non-WAS. They're at varying levels of software. We strongly recommend that you speak with either a Garmin rep or your area Garmin dealer to better understand the differences between a Diamond, a Mooney, a Cessna, whatever it is that you own, and the equipment that's required by certification for that. The solutions in some cases are different for a Beech versus a Cessna versus a Cirrus, etc. Additionally, the experimental units, or the G500, 600, excuse me, I was getting ahead of myself, says coming Q2. We were optimistic. That got pushed back. We will be putting out that new software to take on the ADS-B information and display it on the moving map page in the PFD in the first week of October. The G3X is still on track for early to mid-October. Once again, taking that information in. Additional outputs from the GMX200 and MX20 using the original capstone protocol from the GDL90 series, which really says that this is an old box. The MX20 discontinued for years, but it really shows how long Garmin has been in the ADS-B ballgame. We've been doing this a long time. We have output for third-party displays. Companies such as Aspen had made announcements that our GDL88 UAT system would be able to display on their unit. They've also made statements that the GTX 345 transponder receiving FISB and TISB information would display on their systems. They're currently working on that. Other companies such as Avionics are actively working on that. We've given them the engineering information that they've needed to move forward. I know many of those companies, some that I've mentioned, some that I haven't mentioned, are all working to incorporate our equipment. Additionally, the CNX80 or the GNS 480 can also be used as a WAS position source with the GTX 335 or 345. It can be used as a position source, but it will not display that weather or traffic information on that unit. Once again, because of older legacy setbacks or I guess I'm trying to find the right word, limitations of that box or that technology when it was originally brought out. But we were really excited to bring that to you. I mean, a discontinued box of 8+ years, getting a software upgrade to meet the ADS-B mandate to take care of customers was really something we were happy to do. Some of the unique capabilities, such as I mentioned a moment ago about a relative motion, you'll see in a moment, but we have the ability to have ADS-B in weather with NextRad, METARs, TAFs, etc. ADS-B in traffic with enhanced target trend and relative motion, as well as terminal traffic. So we see the traffic 11 o'clock moving to 1 o'clock, and now we have relative lines coming towards me. That means that is a potential threat. I would touch the screen and engage that, or the concentric knob and turn to it and get the tail number, closure rate, the track, and the ground speed there, and know whether or not it is a factor and whether or not I have to deviate from my flight plan. What's great is on these moving maps and or on the traffic pages, I quickly know who to pay attention to. If those green lines are moving away from me, that's an aircraft moving faster than I am, and I'm a little bit jealous, but it's less of a factor. If those green lines are moving towards me, I have to pay attention to that. Audible alerts such as traffic, 10 o'clock, same altitude, 2 miles, I quickly know where to look and in what direction and what 5 to 10 degree window to quickly scan and find that traffic. So very nice traffic enhancements here. Traffic here on the screen you can see now is in brown, the terminal traffic, and that means it's on the ground. If that were to turn green, so picture going over a Class D airport, and there's a symbol on the ground that's brown, and then it turns green, and you thought it actually was on rollout, you're going to want to pay attention to that, and that is something we're going to see a lot of in the future. The GTX 345 has the Bluetooth capability to take that information, whether in traffic, and display it over onto tablets and or Garmin portables with Bluetooth capabilities. Era 795, 796, 660 using that Bluetooth technology to overlay weather and or traffic on the moving map. Garmin Pilot and or ForeFlight as well. The Bluetooth capability will be able to go over onto more than one, so we could have myself, the left seat flying with a Era 660 displaying that, and right seat somebody displaying on Garmin Pilot or ForeFlight on their tablet. So we're getting multiple uses out of this. In that situation, I'll have information on my 750, my 650, the 660, and also on an iPad. So a tremendous amount of weather and traffic, and taking advantage of that information. That's available on the remote units as well, and the GTN can also provide the position source for ADS-B compliance with use of a GTX 335 and or 345. Excuse me. That same 335 or 345 remote version can be included into the G1000s, provided the service bulletins from the OEM manufacturers have been released. And then with that, we'll have compliance as well as displaying ADS-B in and also for weather and traffic. An optional WASP position source may be needed, especially if it's for a non-WASP G1000 platform, and it could potentially be needed for select G1000 with WASP, depending on the service bulletins that are out there from the manufacturer. That's why I strongly recommend speaking with the Garmin dealer if you're a G1000 platform. Moving on to the GDL 88 and 84. These are our UAT, or under 18,000 feet options for meeting compliance. They can be used upwards of 18,000 feet. Above 18,000 feet, we would configure the outbound in the off position, and we're using it as a receiver for 1090 and 978. So that could be for somebody in a King Air or Cheyenne who already has a 530W and a 330 transponder, a 330 ES transponder, and they want a receiver and they want to display it on their 530 or G600, etc. These boxes could be that inbound solution as well. So multiple uses. Each aircraft owner is going to have a different solution based on how they operate the aircraft and existing equipment already on board. This box is a 978 UAT outbound. It's dual link ADS-B inbound, and it displays that weather and traffic on Garmin Pilot, ForeFlight, or our portables, the 795, 796, or the 660. This one here is really designed for a single engine legacy unit that has no GPS display, such as a 430 or 530, and is relying on the tablets or portables for that weather and traffic information. It does have a built-in WASP GPS receiver, and it does come with the Bluetooth gateway of the FlightStream 110. The 210 is not necessary because there's no flight plan transfer since they don't have a GPS navigator. The GDL-88 is available with a 978 ADS-B outbound, good below 18,000 feet for ADS-B compliance. Dual link ADS-B in for that subscription-free FISB weather and traffic, displayable on all those displays that I showed a little while ago, the 435, 36, 57, 50, etc. Target trend and traffic information is capable on those as well, the GTNs and or on our portables and iPads. We're also compatible with the majority of transponders, so old legacy King 76As, Narcos, etc. If they're in good working order, those can stay in there. We tap in with a sniffer, some patented technology, we bring that information in, we combine it with the GDL-88 for one outbound position. So with that, we can use that for compliance with a 430 or 530W, or we could use an optional WASP position source. We can add a FlightStream to transmit the ADS-B in data to those compatible devices. And the starting price of this is $39.95. A great solution for, say, a Cherokee 180 that has a 430W. A couple of years ago, maybe they upgraded to a digital GTX 327. It's a great, reliable transponder. They add this in, the GDL-88, and now they have ADS-B compliance and weather and traffic information on that 430W, as well as with a FlightStream 110 and or 210 over onto a tablet. So great options. The 110 and 210 are your your Bluetooth gateways. The 110 is displaying weather and traffic from ADS-B on portable devices. The 210 has those same features, but it does allow for two-way flight plan transfer. So a quick way for me to think of it is, if an existing 430W or 530W or GTN is in the aircraft already, you're going to want the FlightStream 210. If there's no certified GPS nav on board, you would consider the FlightStream 110. The 210 also has a built-in AHRS for attitude information that could be Bluetooth over, on, and used by Garmin Pilot and or ForeFlight on your tablets. So we were really excited, and this is part of the seminar where if I was in front of you, you'd see my hands motioning, and I'd be getting really, really excited, because every 28 days our phones light up with the struggles with database transfers, and this FlightStream 510 multimedia card is just an amazing piece of new technology that's enabling database concierge wireless database transfer for GTN 650s and 750 units. We're then taking and leveraging our Garmin Pilot application on the iOS or Android, and we're downloading that information from our database area in Fly Garmin seamlessly behind the scenes within Garmin Pilot. And when we go out to the aircraft and turn on the master up on the GTN 750 or 650, we're going to get a notification of new databases detected. And now we're going to, we're just going to hit update that, and I'll show you a screen in just a moment with that information or displaying that. And we're just going to push that, and we're going to update all the databases within. We're really going to take that every 28-day experience that the customer or operator has been dealing with and streamline it and make it very, very smooth. This is available now. When the GTN 6.21 software started to release, just a couple days ago, the Flightstream 510 also started to ship. So these are arriving for our early adapters at the Garmin dealerships this week, and they're being installed now. But with that, we're also allowing through that Bluetooth gateway with two-way flight plan transfer, sharing the ADS-B traffic, weather, and GPS information from those GTNs. And we're adding the ability to have backup attitude information from an existing G500 or 600 AHRS, that's certified AHRS, to kick that attitude information over to be used on the ForeFlight and or Garmin Pilot applications. So this is brand new patented technology with both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth technology in this card. We're going to just see some amazing testimonials from customers starting to use this in just the very near future. So we're really, really excited about this. We have the option to set the Garmin Pilot to automatically download the information in the background, transfer that to the GTN, which only takes minutes, set that option to Garmin Pilot to automatically delete the databases that were in there, and we're transferring once again prior to the effective dates to remain in the standby position so that we can automatically become active on the date in case we're on a flight trip. So we're wirelessly transferring this information from the following databases to the GTN: Jeppesen nav data, obstacles, terrain, flight charts, base map, and also, if you have a Garmin OnePaks database solution, that Garmin nav data would also be able to transfer in there as well. So we're taking that information. We're seeing that there's new updates available. We're adding that seamlessly in the background. We're going through and it's checking everything's turning green, all happening there for us. And we're going to get out, we turn the master on, and we're now connected to the portable device. Once we've paired it once to the system, we don't have to repair it. It's going to see it. We push continue, and we see down on the bottom that we've got a whole bunch of new databases and a button that says update. I hit that once, and we start to transfer all the information that was stored over on the iPad on Garmin Pilot and putting that right into our navigator. Now, if we have multiple navigators, a 750 and a 650, only one card is required. Additionally, G500, 600, after the first week of October, utilizing the high-speed data buses that the installers had used previously, all this information would go through together on one time. So we're not uploading, downloading from 3 different cards on a G500, on the GTN number 1, the GTN number 2. This all seamlessly took place within Garmin Pilot behind the scenes without you doing it after original setup, and then we're transferring this information in after prompted to once the date is available for those to become legal. Really going to take just an amazing amount of effort that happens month and reduce it significantly for the operator. Right. With that, we look at some of the comparison charts. So the Flightstream 110, we have just a limited ability because we don't have displays in the cockpit that would use and display the weather and traffic. The 345, certainly an incredibly popular box that we certified and started shipping a few months back, getting a tremendous amount of positive feedback from the customers who are already using that, and that's available to be incorporated as compliance. As a compliance component with the 430s, the 530s, the GTNs, the G1000s, the 480s, etc. So an amazing box with lots and lots of capabilities built in with the Bluetooth. Flightstream 210, really designed as the Bluetooth gateway and flight plan transfer enablement capabilities with the GNS 430s and 530 series, because moving forward the GTNs will be utilizing the Flightstream 510 for all that information. And I just want to make sure I point out that in that Flightstream 510 column, the 430Ws and 530Ws are not capable of using a Flightstream 510. And that's a limitation of the box from when it was originally designed. The technology is, a little bit old. All right. Garmin's come out with our OnePaks. The OnePaks are cost-effective database solutions for the entire aircraft. We go in, and it's an amazing savings across a cockpit that has multiple Garmin devices that may need to be upgraded, such as a G600, 750, 650 solution, and those savings range anywhere from 20 to 60%, depending on what it is that you need. Your Garmin dealer can help you pick out what's important to you and what's applicable to your aircraft moving forward. So we want to preserve or upgrade your panel. In some cases, a legacy VFR ship looking to meet compliance, nothing on the panel will change. You'll change over your transponder potentially onto a new digital transponder, but that might be it. Nothing on your scan would change. Or even at that, you could put in the UAT GDL84 with GPS or 88 with GPS, and literally nothing on your panel changes for your scan. But what you really see here across the board on the bottom, and this is only a small number of them, we have multiple solutions for any and all aircraft. We really can take care of you. And if you throw me an oddball, this is where the Stump the Garmin guy. Someone tells me that they have a Falcon 900, and I said, okay, well, you've got me. But our AML for Part 23 aircraft is over 800 airframes. So if you're flying a single engine, a light twin, a turbine, our solutions work for you. Once we get up into the Part 25 jet world, a separate STC per airframe is required. Some that we've got available now, others that we're working on it soon to release. So check with the Garmin dealer, check with someone like John Zimmerman at Sporty, who's an ADS-B expert and knows what you can put in your aircraft. Call Garmin, reach out to us. We're happy to work with you. It's just what we do every day. So you've heard me mention the Era 660, our latest offering in the portable market. It is a new capacitive touchscreen unit that we introduced earlier this year. And it's sunlight readable with a 5-inch capacitive screen that's similar to your smartphone. We have Garmin Signature's Direct 2 buttons on the screen. We have wireless connectivity through the Bluetooth gateways for weather and traffic information. We have geo-referenced flight charts available that can go on here, fuel prices on the moving map, and electronic flight bag capability. These are available from Sporty's at $849. And it's fun for me. I go in the field and someone asks me about it, and I say, call Sporty's, go on their website, order it today, it'll ship tomorrow. Sporty's has a tremendous amount of inventory of Garmin product and have been an amazing partner for us for many, many years, and they have what you want. So we have those available now and ready to go. Garmin's proud to say that we have been voted #1 in support and product support by Aviation International News and Professional Pilots Magazine. We have a worldwide presence. We have 24/7 ARG services. We have offices around the world. But what it really tells you is that before, during, and after your investment in Garmin products, we want to make sure that you're happy and that your systems are working properly. So we're really happy with that once again. That was about 2 weeks ago that we were voted #1 again in the industry. With that, I was going to open this up geez, I did all right, 8:41. I think we were shooting for 45 minutes for this. So, John, if you want to come back on, and hopefully we can answer some questions.
Yeah, you're doing great, Michael. Thank you very much for that. Great information all the way across. Going to start with one in particular question here. I had a couple others pop up, and everyone please feel free to continue to add your questions there. Type them in and we'll get to them. First one's a specific one, but you're the man that I know can answer it. The attendee's asking, can a Garmin GDU 375, which is a panel mount display, can that receive and display ADS-B traffic from a GDL 39, a portable, while also displaying XM weather?
So that's into the G3X, and I would love if we had a G3X expert on the line tonight. I honestly don't know. I would love to give that. Maybe you can send that customer my email address, which is michael.kerrigan, Kerrigan, @garmin.com. And they can send me that question, and I will get them the answer to 100%. Because right now I'm at about 85% on the answer, and I don't think that I would want to tell 100 plus people on this webinar the wrong thing. So maybe you could share that with them. And I'm really, really good at what I know, and I'm really good at what I don't know. So let's err on the side of caution here.
Fair enough. I had no idea either. That's why I was helping you out there.
Yeah.
Maybe had a couple questions come up. Maybe just a real quick review of what exactly are the minimum requirements for January 1st, 2020 for ADS-B. What are the different pieces and parts there that have to be in place?
Sure. So for ADS-B compliance, we need some way to communicate position. With that, all ADS-B requirements, solutions, whether they're coming from Garmin or anywhere else, require a certified watts position source. That position source plus either a 978 frequency outbound or 1090 frequency. Now, the outbound communication will be giving out our tail number, our altitude, our speed, whether we're climbing or descending, etc. That package of information will be going out. So it's some sort of solution that allows for the 978 frequency plus the watts position source if you're flying below 18,000 feet, or at any altitude, the 1090 frequency plus a watts position source, sending that information out once per second without the pilot having to do anything out to ATC. So either those. So some would say, let's say, I don't know, a Bonanza with a 530W and a old Narco transponder. That customer could upgrade to a new transponder and have the outbound frequency 1090 plus the 530 watts position source, and they are meeting compliance and they're done. Now, what would happen in a real-life situation is the airplane is going to come to the shop is going to check the software level of that GNS 530 unit, and they're going to upgrade that unit to the appropriate software level that meets the outbound parameters for the WAS compliance. That software is free of charge from us. The shop may change and charge an hour. So much of that is because of the logbook entry. It takes longer than anything else. But so WAS position source and a unit, either transponder with 1090 or a UAT with 978, to send the outbound frequency once per second.
All right, great, thanks. Along those lines, you had a couple questions about, transponders like a GTX 330, and what are the options there in terms of upgrading those transponders versus having to be replaced? Maybe walk us through what the options are there.
Sure. So the GTX 330 has been a tremendous product for Garmin. It has been our digital mode S transponder for the last 6 or 7 plus years. That unit is mode S, and it can be upgraded to extended squitter with a 1090 frequency. The unit would come back to Garmin through a Garmin dealer. We do the extended squitter modification on that box, which is a hardware. I know there's some talk of whether or not it meets the FAA rebate requirement, but it is a hardware change, and that modification could be done at a list price of $1,200. So that Bonanza customer that I mentioned a moment ago would say that I originally said a 530W with a Narco If we changed him to a 530W with a GTX 330 that he's been flying around with for the last several years, ADS-B compliance for him could be as low cost as $1,200. He could receive his weather and traffic information through one of the portable devices, GDL 39 or 39 3D or a competitive product, and display that information on a tablet. At the same time, if the customer with the existing 330 wanted to remove the 330 and upgrade to one of the newer transponders for compliance, such as the 345, that would be a new rack and a slightly different wiring. But that 330 could come out. It still has tremendous value because it can be upgraded for ADS-B compliance. And that 345 could go in, and it's a pretty quick turnaround for the customer.
And on that topic, I know this is a long probably answer, and you mentioned part of it earlier tonight, but when you look at all the different options there, one of the questions I know we hear a lot at our avionics shop, Cincinnati Avionics, when we're first talking ADS-B, is a lot of pilots will ask, well, 1090 versus 978, I know 1090 can be used above 18,000. I know 978 is only below 18,000. But other than that, help me make a decision. Which Garmin has great options in both with GDL 84, GDL 88 that are 978 boxes, the GTX 335, 345 that are 1090. Kind of walk me through that decision of which is the right answer.
I think the right answer there has to do with the existing transponder. I mentioned earlier a digital transponder, the GTX 327. Somebody had, the owner-operator invested in that product a year or two ago. A GDL 88 or 80, would be a tremendous option for that because they have a very reliable transponder in the aircraft. But if we decided to go to a UAT solution, and I'm looking at an old Narco transponder, and I know it's going to fail at some point, I just don't think I would invest in a solution that's hinged on an antiquated old analog transponder. We're seeing in the field a lot more folks going towards the transponder solution. We're seeing the GDL 88 being installed when there is a very reliable transponder, or we're seeing it being involved in a higher altitude airplane as a receiver. We're still selling plenty of those GDL 88s and 84 solutions, but we're seeing more movement towards the transponders as a solution because so many of those legacy analog transponders are failing. And some of the companies don't even exist anymore, so getting them repaired is costly.
Good to know. That's sort of the speech we've been given, so I'm glad we've been saying the right thing, Michael. I'll give you one more question here, and then we'll close up. This is from a home builder here, so hopefully a question that you can add a little bit of perspective on. Customer says he's building an RV7. What would you recommend for ADS-B in and out in that airplane? And any differences in terms of VFR or IFR capability there?
RV7. So I would try to remember the number that we had announced. But so a G3X EFIS solution with potentially I might put that with a GTN 625 for my IFR navigator. And my inbound solution, she's a GTX 23 transponder, or there's another one we announced, but I don't have the information up in front of me. It's called the, it's available on Garmin.com Aviation under the G3X area. Darn it, I just don't have it on the tip of my tongue. Unfortunately, I spend so much of my time on the certified products, the GTNs, the G1000, G500, 600. My daily exposure to the G3X line is a little bit limited. But there is a tremendous amount of information on the Garmin.com site for the G3X owner-operator. Otherwise, once again, I'm happy to say my email and send me a quick note. It's michael.kerrigan@garmin.com. Send me a note. I'm happy to get the answers you need.
Thanks very much for that, Michael. I guess in closing, just a couple resources if I want to dive a little deeper with Garmin. Where can I go to find some more information?
Oh, heck, I think I really, this is such a big investment for compliance for 2020. Some great resources would be the Authorized Garmin Dealer Network, who has training. They've been installing this gear for quite some time, and they really know the right solutions for your aircraft. That's one area. Another would be Garmin's website, garmin.com, /ADS-B Academy, a tremendous resource for learning more about ADS-B, and drop-down menus with what is your aircraft, what do you currently have on board. It would say, do you have a certified GPS NavCom, do you have a digital transponder, and at the end it'll spit you out 2 or 3 different options of what's appropriate for your aircraft. Do you operate at or above 18,000 feet? Do you operate internationally? The people going to a 978 ADS-B solution have to realize that the rest of the world is using 1090 extended squitter as their ADS-B solution. So there's a little limitation there, but it's different. Cherokee 180, the operator who's out of Ohio, who's never left the country, the UAT is a perfect solution. But it depends on where you operate. So some of those resources, and I always encourage everybody to come and join, the rest of their aviation family at Oshkosh and Sun and Fun and all the other, industry events that we have so much fun going to, Joe.
Indeed, there is nothing like, and I just maybe add a little bit of praise for Garmin. The seminar programs that Garmin puts on at Sun and Fun at Oshkosh are really, really spectacular. So if you're looking to geek out on anything avionics, that really is worth the trip. Well, we thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks to Michael Kerrigan from Garmin for sharing all that information. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Again, there'll be a recording of this webinar up at sporties.com/webinars in the next couple of days. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll join us again for another Sporties webinar in the future. Thank you very much, and good night.